Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Reactive Horsemanship. I'm Luke Brown. I'm very excited to be with you here today on Winning Wednesday. I hope you've had a great first of your week. It's a beautiful morning this morning in Santan Valley, Arizona. And the horse, or the mule that I have behind me right now, this is Rosie Mae. Hopefully you can see her. I actually cracked the camera on the front side of my phone, so I'm having to use the back side, so I'm not sure the view that I'm getting right now, but hopefully you can see her at least part ways. She is a mule that came to me. She's a gaited mule. She's about 14 years old, I think, and she came to me because she's really has a lot of issues being under saddle with somebody on top of her, and any kind of noise up above her she's really hesitant and afraid of. She didn't know at all how to laterally flex, how to yield her hindquarters, how to bend forward, how to do any of that. And she's getting much better at that. She's getting quite a bit better at her groundwork on the ground and a lot less reactive, especially when I'm close to her and I have things like a plastic sheet or the flag, or even touching her on her butt. She initially was very sensitive and afraid of that, and being touched on her rib cage, being touched on her shoulders. She's just a very sensitive mule, but she's coming along. This is the let's see, I think I'm in the 6th week. Yeah, I'm in the middle of the 6th week with her, and I'm going to have her for 8 weeks. So hopefully, and as you can see, we're still in the round pen. I'm trying to get through those issues, those big issues, and really help her settle down before I start riding her out. Now, a couple years back, there's a video of her riding in the forest with her original owners, or the owners that sold her to the current owner. And so she has been ridden out, but she didn't have her britchin on, I could tell, and they were really quiet on top of her. And I think for her, they had to be really quiet, and she would move and she'd do what they asked them to do generally. But if they made any noise on top of her when she was moving, I think it frightened her and she wanted to bolt. So that's why she's with me, and I'm happy to have her. And she's very sweet mule, really sweet mule. She has no bad intentions. She's just afraid. So we're trying to just keep working on her, work through that. I anticipate her having a lot of success in the future with her owner, and her owner feeling safe on top of her. It's just going to take a lot. And that's what I want to talk to you today about, is repetition. For Winning Wednesday, the importance of repetition. Repetition. If I had to say one thing that was most important in horse training, that is repetition. Now, of course, you want to do it correctly and repeat it over and over again. I remember I heard one time that Buck Brannaman said that it takes 10,000 attempts or at lateral flexion to get your horse to bend correctly and to yield to that pressure. And I don't think he calls it lateral flexion, and he doesn't flex laterally like some people do. But his point is well taken, that it takes many repetitions to get a horse or a mule to be very good at that, at whatever you're asking them to do. We have to remember that. A lot of times we want to have results right away, and I get caught up in that as well. I want results, quick results, and there's some horses and some mules that really give me quick results. I mean, just within a matter of minutes, they can come much further than Rosie Mae is with her desensitizing on top of her. For example, this morning, I was getting her used to just tapping my chest like this on top of her, just like that. And she would bolt forward every time she would hear that sound. Now, at first I started tapping my leg like that, and eventually I got her used to that, and then I started tapping up here on my chest, and when I did that, whoo, she wanted to bolt forward. And then this morning, after I started getting her pretty good at both my leg and my chest, and she's not 100% there, and this is while I'm riding her, I make sure and bend her one direction. And so I make sure that one rein is shorter than the other when I do something like that, when she's afraid of. That way I can pick up with one hand and bend her and stay relatively safe and keep her from really bolting forward. I can kind of manage that by bending her. But I made a noise. I think the noise was something like this. Something like that, like that little noise. And that noise just set her off. And you can see a mule has these big old ears, and they have really excellent hearing. And I think that's one of her issues, is she's real sensitive with her hearing, and so she hears everything. And so that little change, it's a big change in sound from this low sound to that. But you would wonder, why would a horse or a mule be afraid of that sound? But let me tell you, she was super afraid of it. I do that, and she wanted to bolt forward. So I kept working with her, and repeating. And I lowered my sound a little to almost like, like that. And I got her because I can blow out and she's okay with that. So I'd blow out like that. I'd kind of mix the two sounds and started to get her used to that and more comfortable with it. But it took many, many repetitions. And somebody like her, or a mule like her, might take hundreds of times more repetitions than some other horses or mules to get something done. So just remember that. Some horses, some mules, they take a lot of repetitions, whether it be lateral flexion, and she's one of those too. For lateral flexion, it's taken a lot of work to get her to actually bend laterally and not move her feet, so I can get her to get stopped and get relaxed laterally. So it's one of those things that we have to remember for Winning Wednesday: repetition, repetition, repetition. Whether it's you're training on your horses or your mules, or whatever, your dogs, whatever animals you're trying to train, or whether it's trying to get good at something, trying to get good at your business, trying to think about how many times we repeated drawing the letter A when we were in kindergarten before we got good at drawing the letter A or the letter B. Our whole alphabet, it took many hundreds of, even thousands and thousands of repetitions to get where we are today. So remember that with our horses and mules. Be patient with them. Be patient with yourself. And just remember that as long as you're trying to do the right thing and you're repeating it over and over again, you're gonna find results. Now, of course, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So there's a fine line between being insane and just repeating for improvement and for towards perfection. So we have to distinguish between those two. But remember, just be patient with yourself and repeat, and you're gonna start to see success. I hope you guys have a wonderful Winning Wednesday. Until next time, be thankful, live with purpose, live with passion, and as always, stay safe in the saddle.